I don't know. You know, you guys make all these predictions about everything, about guys that are going to be great players that have been here for 2 years and who's going to win all the games. And I don't even know why we play. Why do we even play? Why do we even have practice? Why do we compete? Why do we coach guys? How do they need to improve? I mean, you guys got all the answers to, I mean, how guys are going to be, what they're going to do. I mean, sometimes I wonder, why do we play?
It's become a yearly tradition. It's Nick Saban's preseason rant. If it's not about satellite camps and whether or not his competition is up to par, it's about something like this. It's like death and taxes and Saban ranting.
Yeah, I'm a little tired of it. In fact, I don't think I should say it to you. I should probably say it directly to him. Why are you mad, Nick Saban? I don't understand. Why are you so mad? The only thing I ever see this dude called is a genius. And sometimes people call him surly, but we just saw why they do so. This goes for Bill Belichick as well. These guys win basically every year. They get praised as geniuses basically every week. What is your problem? Please stop. Thank you.
Well said. I don't know if I can say it any better. We should move on to other topics in the world of sports today. Things have gotten ugly between the NFL and the Players Association over Ezekiel Elliott's suspension. The bad blood stems from specific information from the Elliott case that was leaked to the media, all of it damaging to the victim, Tiffany Thompson. The NFL accused the Players Association of victim shaming, saying they've, quote, received multiple reports of the NFLPA spreading derogatory information to the media about the victim. They went on, common or not, these tactics are shameful. Efforts to shame and blame victims are often what prevent people from coming forward to report violence and or seek help in the first place. Now, the Players Association fired back, saying the public statement issued on behalf of every owner is a lie. The NFLPA categorically denies the accusations made in this statement. We know the league office has a history of being exposed for its lack of credibility. This is another example of the NFL's hypocrisy on display and an attempt to create a sideshow to distract from their own failings in dealing with such serious issues. They should be ashamed for stooping to new lows. Robin, I honestly think that both sides should be ashamed here. The fact that this is playing out like a publicity and PR battle is basically sends a message to any woman or victim who is thinking about coming forward that if you do, your name is going to be dragged through the mud. This is no longer about whether or not Ezekiel Elliott put his hands on the victim or left those bruises on the victim, whether or not he assaulted the victim. It's now about reputations. And if the NFL or the PA need to use this woman's painful story in which she admits the inconsistencies she told, she admits that there were jealousies, she admits that there were falsehoods, but she also says that she was assaulted, and both things can be true at the same time. If they're going to use her painful story as part of their own PR tactics, I think that is what's most shameful of all.
I think I need to address two things here, and the first is much easier. The relationship between the NFL and the NFL players is obviously fractured, and that is bad news for the league going forward whenever they have some sort of labor negotiation and the like. And it's just bad news. It's a bad look ongoing. The other aspect is what you just referenced, and it's a very uneasy topic to actually discuss because even if the NFL isn't being completely forthright or is wrong, their statement still has validity as to why women won't come forward. On the other side of things, we do know that the NFL has tried to do damage control on that issue, so you could believe that they are trying to look strong. But all of that is with a topic that is very sensitive, and it's not really one that I'm going to have a take about, and it's one that I think they're sort of forcing people to have takes about by going at each other in this way, because without knowing exactly what happened in this specific case, you're dealing with someone's reputation, and you're dealing with someone else's health and future and psyche and all sorts of things. So it's a dangerous topic to have this sort of head clashing over.
Yeah, you're saying that there are real things at stake here. There absolutely are, and these two sides are using using this woman's story as just a chip and a pawn in trying to get a leg up on each other in terms of who can be defensible in whether it's the NFL in suspending Zeke Elliott or it's the NFLPA in defending Zeke Elliott. And I just don't understand if there's going to be an appeal process, if that is already going to play out where Zeke Elliott is going to have his day, his lawyers are going to be able, and he will be able to talk to the commissioner and try to appeal the 6-game suspension. Why does this have to be played out in public? Why can't this be played out behind closed doors? I mean, I agree with the NFL saying that these tactics are shameful, but I don't agree that the NFL is also getting down in the mud to make this as public as possible. It's a multi-billion-dollar entity. Both sides have blame here when they're using this one individual as their pawn. It's just not right.
And we realize how powerful the NFL is, right? But we've all sort of been craving a good story, a positive story, and most of the stories that have come out from the NFL have not been that. And I get it, you know, people believe they're Teflon and nothing can hurt them, but over and over and over again, and to be having this sort of confrontation on this particular topic played out so publicly, I don't think it helps anyone.
No, they both don't get it either, right? They don't get it. They can say they do by saying, hey, if you are victim shaming, it's going to prevent more women and people from coming forward. They can say they get that. But by doing this publicly, it shows that they don't actually get it. And they're both actually working towards the same end, which is trying to keep victims silent, which is what they were for so long, and how the NFL and the Players Association got into this in the first place. Listen, I understand that the NFLPA is going to defend their players. They don't have to do it like this. There's a better way to do it. Meanwhile, the relationship, of course, between the league and the players, always at odds. So what does that mean for labor peace in the future? Our own Albert Breer sat down with the NFLPA president, D. Smith, last week.
Do you look at the possibility of a work stoppage in 2021, or is it too early for that?
I think that the likelihood of either a strike or a lockout in 21 is almost a virtual certainty.
Virtual certainty. Missed games?
Well, I don't know now, but I mean, let's look at our history, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the owners do a deal in 2006 and opt out in 2008. Mm-hmm. We do a deal in 2011 with no opt-outs because we liked the benefits under the current deal, and we didn't want to give the owners an opportunity to opt out and take back the gains that we currently have. If there is no renegotiation of the collective bargaining agreement and we reach 2021, there is no uncapped year, right? Mm-hmm. Because last year, the last time we went through it, we found out that the owners lied and cheated about the uncapped year. So why would I do that again? All of the mutual benefits that were supposed to happen as a result of the opt-out didn't happen last time. Owners colluded with each other, and we found out they colluded with each other, and all of the bad things that went to the players happened, and none of the bad things that went to the owners happened. So we have a new deal where if it doesn't get fixed, you head into a certain small A Armageddon.
Robin, we know that the NFL is still the most popular sport in America by a long shot. But now seeing what's happening in public between the two sides being very vocal and looking pretty bad, in my opinion, on both sides. Now looking at D. Smith saying that there's almost a virtual certainty that there's going to be a lockout. I mean, is this the last thing that the NFL needs? As, you know, we were talking all summer long about how the NBA really was driving a lot of the headlines and a lot of the interest this summer.
I think it's the last thing any league needs, right? But with NFL players, I feel for them because of the nature of their sport, the duration of careers, the danger that they're putting themselves in actually physically and mentally, of course. So I do hope they get a better deal. At the same time, I mean, we call for compromise in a lot of various things. Easier said than done. We just saw the posturing they were doing over domestic violence. But when you're talking about anthem protests and you're talking about CTE and you're talking about labor strife, and these things just keep piling up, the perception of your brand starts to get altered. I don't care how popular they've been, because things have been a certain way for a long time, so they're hard to accept that they could change, but you used to be able to smoke on a plane, right? So that doesn't mean that it will always be in perpetuity. And that's what the NFL has to be careful of, is not being too arrogant in their current status.
I think that the NFL, though, always has such a major leg up and leverage over the NFLPA.
Oh, no doubt.
Because of one of the things you mentioned, which is just the length of careers. I mean, you have guys who are only going to have a cup of coffee in the NFL, who are looking to get as much as they can in as little time as possible. And then you also have to factor in the guys who are going to play for 15 years, who have completely different set of urgencies, I guess, or areas that they want to focus in that the guy who's only going to play for 3 years and one contract just doesn't have. I mean, add into it just how physical the sport is, how dangerous it is, all of the bad publicity that the league has undergone. I mean, we talked about how the league is just joyless, in a lot of ways. It just doesn't seem like the NFL has a lot of really good headlines, whereas the NBA, we're just focused on every player, every move. It seems like the league and the players union are really simpatico. And, you also have the NFL guys saying, why don't we have guaranteed contracts like the NBA guys do? And I think they're going to try to push for that come 2021.
Well, you set up a good segue, because the speculation continues that LeBron James will be leaving Cleveland again after this season, which led to a debate on Twitter. Not surprising, other than the fact that Kevin Durant was involved. Rapper Lil Dicky argued the Cavs need to trade LeBron rather than lose him for nothing, while Durant took the position that James's legendary status means he gets to hold all the cards and can't be moved. So who is right, KD or Lil Dicky?
I didn't know KD was so old school here. This is an old school take by Kevin Durant. The new wave of analytics and how much that has impacted the NBA player movement on the rise. Very few guys start and end their career with the same team. It's not like how it used to be back in the day. So I'm surprised that KD would take this stance, honestly. I mean, if LeBron James is going to be honest with the organization like Chris Paul was, like Paul George was, and say, listen, I'm out after this season, I think it'd be the responsible thing to do for the organization to trade him. Is that going to come with a massive amount of obstacles, starting with his no trade clause and ending with how do you even trade for LeBron James? What kind of value does he bring back? It's going to have obstacles, but if they're sure he's going to leave, I think you owe it to your fan base to let him not leave for a second time for absolutely nothing in return.
See, I think LeBron has already satisfied the fan base by finally bringing that championship to Cleveland. And in theory, you're correct, unless you hate the owner. And that's what makes this particularly intriguing, is that it does seem that there is genuine animosity between LeBron and Dan Gilbert. Look, how couldn't there be, considering the original Comic Sans letter from Dan Gilbert, and then there's been reports about some beef over political alignments and the like, and donations.
Firing the general manager, who LeBron James
firing the general manager, all those things. So LeBron James is such a legendary figure and all of that, as KD said, and that makes it difficult to even broach the topic. But when you reach in and you realize that LeBron's probably not out to do Dan Gilbert personally any favors, it makes it a lot more difficult.
But is that a little cut off the nose to spite the face? I agree with you that fans in Cleveland are just so appreciative that LeBron James made good on his promise to win them a title, that he gets a pass forever, and I think he deserves that pass forever. But if you are doing something despite the owners, the owner, the people who really pay the price are the fans, because they have to watch a crappy product for however long it takes to dig themselves out of it.
Well, Dan Gilbert can take the onus. I mean, he can make a trade if he wants to. I mean, he can approach that matter and see what's actually going on there. Because if you're LeBron and you are actually considering leaving, then perhaps you want to do it before that career clock keeps ticking a little bit more often. I don't think it will happen, before next summer, but it will be very interesting to see how the Cavaliers approach not only the Kyrie Irving trade, but putting the roster around LeBron, because regardless of the scenario, what's the best thing they can do is try and win this year. Because if you win this year and LeBron leaves, you still got another championship. And what's the best way to possibly convince him to stay? Winning another championship.
Although you got that whole Kyrie mess in the middle of things. Meanwhile, one of LeBron's former teammates also could be changing teams. Dwayne Wade and the Bulls could reportedly come to terms on a buyout agreement in the next few months. Where should D-Wade end up?
Well, the obvious answer seems to be Cleveland,
Gotta be
right?
Cleveland, yeah.
He did the still shot of their ratings on NBA 2K next to LeBron, and that seems to be where everybody is leaning. Maybe going back to end his career in Miami, considering where they're at. But I would imagine Wade would be in the situation, even though he has some, to ring chase.
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, Cleveland makes so much sense because they do need the scoring from the guard position. Who knows what's going to happen with Kyrie? They may need someone to fill in some major minutes there. And if D. Wade's healthy enough, he can definitely contribute. Now, here's a wild card team. It's actually Ben Teitelbaum, our showrunner, who came up with this, full credit. And that is the Washington Wizards. The Wizards were one of the best teams in terms of their starting five, logged the most minutes together on the court last year. They were so effective as a starting five. But then when you got to the bench, things completely fell apart. And you saw that Game 7 where the Wizards played the Boston Celtics and John Wall just flat ran out of gas. They need some help. And if Dwayne Wade is able to insert some energy and freshness off the bench, I think that is the boost that the Washington Wizards need. And that they will be in the playoff conversation if everyone's healthy this year. Wade might put them over the edge if they do get to a Game 7. I think it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, Miami would be the sentimental pick, but I don't know if they really need him this year.
Again, to my point about NBA conversations generating the most buzz, I mean, it is still August, and we're talking about the National Basketball Association. Of course, NFL anthem protests remain a story as the season approaches. And of course, there's no consensus across the league. On Wednesday, 49ers GM John Lynch said he believes football brings people together. And while he respects the rights of players to protest, he finds them, quote, divisive. Then there's Michael Bennett of the Seahawks, who has stated he will sit for the anthem all season following the events of Charlottesville. Bennett is calling for unity in protest, specifically from white players.
I honestly believe that it would take a white player to be able to really get things changed, because a lot of people, when somebody from the other side understands and they step up and they speak about it, it will change the whole conversation, because you bring somebody who doesn't really have to be a part of the conversation to bringing themselves and making themselves vulnerable in front of it. And I think when that happens, things will really take a big jump.
Yesterday, we had a chance to talk about how athletes can and should use their voice to address the current climate of the country with University of Virginia alum and NBA Rookie of the Year, Malcolm Brogdon.
Malcolm, just your thoughts. What was it like to see this degree of violence and hate on the campus that you called home for so long?
Honestly, for me, it was pretty shocking to see this happen in a place that, I call home is sort of jarring for me. But, if I were to be honest, the level of hate and blatant racism that still dominates the minds of so many Americans today, it's not shocking to me. I think at the end of the day, you have to call it what it is. I think this is white supremacy, and I think it's domestic terrorism. I think we live in a country where we, go overseas and we fight other people's wars, and, we fight terrorism overseas internationally, but we don't want to, fully acknowledge the terrorism that goes home domestically. So, I think it's a shocking event, but, it's not surprising, sort of the hate that is still around.
You saw this Robert E. Lee statue. What were your thoughts about it then, and what are your thoughts about it now?
My thoughts about it have never changed. I'm a person that thinks things should not be glorified that did not do the country any justice. For example, these statues, I think they stand still, but all they do is divide people. At this point in time, I think America needs to be unified. And the statues are clearly something that's not unifying people. It's going to continue to create a divide within our communities. And, I think they have no place. They have no place in our society right now.
Recently, LeBron James has called for unity for those who, believe in love of the fellow people of the country and beyond. How do you feel he has used his voice of late?
I think he's been brilliant. I think a lot of people have shunned him and told him to sit down. He's an athlete and stay in that box. But I think when you have a platform like LeBron, it's your duty to speak up. It's your duty to do the right thing. And I think he's been terrific. I think he's been, I think he's been articulate in the way he's spoken, and he's been, truthful. I don't think he's tried to shy away from being truthful and making sure that people hear his voice. And I think he's done an awesome job.
Considering how much things have escalated just in the past week or so, do you feel like we're going to see more NBA players using the games themselves as platforms to make statements or have their own sort of silent or nonviolent protests?
I'm not sure, but I do hope so. I see guys like Colin Kaepernick in the NFL, guys like Marshawn Lynch. They're sitting down, they're making statements, they're standing up for what they believe in, and I think it's terrific. I think we need more athletes like that have platforms, that have stages, that are willing to make sacrifices to see that our country improves as a whole.
Would you be willing to take a knee like Kaepernick? Is that something that you would want to do this season?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think everybody has different methods in which they're going to protest. But for me right now, it's coming on shows like this and speaking the truth. And, I feel like that's the right thing to do. So that's what I want to do. And as for the future, I don't know what it holds, but I do see how Colin Kaepernick and Marshawn Lynch, I support them standing up for their beliefs and civil rights.
When people say athletes should, quote unquote, stick to sports, what does that mean to you?
I think it's extremely offensive. I think it puts us in a bubble. I think it, simply implies that because we're athletes, we don't have a say, or we don't have a opinion, or we don't have the educational background to comment on things outside of sports. I just think it's absurd. So I encourage all athletes to speak out if they're comfortable to do it. And, I think it's our duty. I don't think it's something we really have a choice to do. I think it's our duty. If you have the platform, if, you're comfortable enough, you should speak out. It's the morally right thing to do.
Now, turning to the season coming up, should Giannis be the favorite for MVP in your mind?
Absolutely. Giannis is a terrific talent. He outworks everybody, and it's a joy to play with him.
Now, for you, you've done a lot to get to where you're at in the basketball position, playing a lot of years at Virginia, as it was mentioned, a second-round pick. To be named Rookie of the Year, what did that mean for you?
It was a surreal moment for me. But then I was able to really reflect on it days after and really just appreciate all the people that have helped me get here. And, then I had to think about my organization and our former GM, John Hammond, that really took a chance on me, and Coach Kidd and my teammates. I think a lot of people have played a role. That award is not a award that that really is an example of everything I've done. It's an example of, it's a testament to everybody that's helped me get here. So the award just made me reflect and be really appreciative of people around me.
Now, you guys are an up-and-coming team. You mentioned your teammates. One of them, Jabari Parker, has had 2 injury-shortened seasons. Have you kept up with him this summer? What are your expectations for him this season?
I have kept up with him this summer. He's making terrific progress. He's going to be back at 100%. I can't say when, but I've been up to Milwaukee a few times. I've seen him work out, and he's a freak athlete, but he's also worked extremely hard. He's lived in Milwaukee the whole summer. Not many vets do that, but he's lived in Milwaukee the whole summer. He's been training. He's been eating right. His diet has gotten cleaned up. He's cut weight. He looks amazing. So the sky's the limit for Jabari. He's going to be back. He's going to be healthy. He's not going to get injured again. So once we have him back, we'll be full speed, and I'm excited.
Malcolm, before we let you go, just touching on some of the themes when we began this interview. When something like this happens, I know you are very in touch with teammates and other guys in the league. Are you talking about it with them? How much a conversation is going on behind the scenes between your fellow NBA players?
When we get together, we definitely dive deep into these topics because everybody is affected by them. It's hard not to pay attention. I think at this point in time, you can't be ignorant to these issues. You can't act like you don't see them. So we have group discussions, whether it's in the locker room or just after practice. We always end up talking about these issues. And, we always figure out what we actually want to do. If we want to come together, we want to make a statement, we want to take a stand, we always come up with something that can be impactful for the Milwaukee community, but also, nationally as well.
Malcolm Brogdon, we appreciate your thoughts on a variety of topics today. Good luck to your Bucks next season, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
With 3 receivers drafted in the top 9 picks, this should be the year of the rookie wideouts. Trust me, it's not. You're better off bargain shopping for late-round picks in 2017. Let's start with Kenny Golladay. The Northern Illinois product made a splash in his first preseason game with 2 touchdowns for the Lions. He's 6'4", 213 pounds, and has red zone threat written all over him. And it's not just the preseason TDs. He was already getting a ton of buzz for his performance in camp. Most importantly, unlike the other guys on this list, he has a Matthew Stafford throwing him the ball. The Rams' Cooper Kupp also scored a TD in his preseason opener, although it was only a fumble recovery. But that's not why you should be excited about the former Eastern Washington star. He was targeted early in the Rams' first drive and should be a security blanket for young quarterback Jared Goff. How about Zay Jones? The Bills' rookie is in play since Buffalo traded Sammy Watkins, leaving the receiving corps thin. Jones is the all-time FBS receptions leader at East Carolina and will bring it in if he's targeted. If they start looking toward the future, that means making sure Jones gets plenty of action. Next, Ardarius Stewart. After the Quincy Enunwa injury, the former Alabama receiver has a chance to start. I'm not 100% sure even that would make Stewart worth a pick, but he was on the field a lot during the Jets' preseason opener. And with the Jets expected to trail early and often, that could mean downfield attempts for Stewart. Finally, Taywan Taylor. The Titans rookie caught everyone's eye over the weekend with a spectacular 42-yard catch against the Jets. This after an impressive start to camp for the rookie out of Western Carolina. There's a crowded receiver room in Tennessee, but if fellow rookie Corey Davis can't stay healthy, Taylor should have opportunities galore this season.
The latest Las Vegas odds have Conor McGregor as a plus 350 underdog, but one teacher in Ireland believes McGregor will not only win, but knock out Floyd Mayweather, and he put his feelings in a song.
Only one Conor McGregor, and there's no fighter better, and he's gonna knock out Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd, watch out, cause the Irish are coming. You can talk all you want, but you'll do nothing.
Mick Konstantin and his ukulele have gone viral, and Mick Konstantin joins us now. Mick, congratulations on all the success of the song. It's been such a hit, 3 million plus views on YouTube. Is it true that Conor McGregor invited you to Las Vegas to watch him face Floyd?
Yeah, so it was the night after, just flicking through my emails. I was actually in the studio recording the song and took a break, looked at my phone, had an email off one of his management team or something like that. It said, Conor's seen the song, he loves it, and he wants to bring you, fly you over, put you up in a hotel and get you 2 tickets for the fight, all for you and a friend, if you're interested in taking it up. So first I thought it was a prank because I thought this can't be real, and then when it came out I realized it was real after a while. It's just, I'm still in disbelief over it. I can't believe it.
Are you going to get face-to-face, a live performance? When you do meet him, what are you going to tell Conor McGregor?
I don't know. I'll probably just start singing to him. But yeah, I don't know what the story is yet, to be honest. I know I'm going over on Thursday, and I'm guessing he'll be fairly focused on his fight on the Saturday. And then, all things going well, he knocks Mayweather out, as is in the song. And maybe I'll sing the song for him afterwards then when we're celebrating together, or during the after party or something like that.
Yes, we hope you get into that after party. Okay, because you are joining us, yeah, that's going to be cool. You are joining us from Ireland. Just give us a little behind the scenes. Describe what the feeling will be like in that country on the night of the fight, which will actually be the morning in Ireland.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. Like, obviously, it's huge in America, in the States, but Ireland is such a smaller country that, like, when someone as big as Conor is fighting, like pretty much every person in the country will have an interest in this. It's just going to be crazy, the expectation. And we love watching all the videos of all the fans over in Vegas, even in the weigh-ins and all that kind of stuff. And you see them singing together, and that just gets us excited. So the massive anticipation, and yeah, just really, really going to enjoy it.
Say the fight doesn't go the way you want it to. Will it matter to Ireland if Conor McGregor loses?
It's a good question. It will and it won't, because I don't think there's, obviously, Floyd Mayweather is a serious boxer and his record is ridiculous, and 49-0. Anyone who has a big interest in MMA and in Conor McGregor will be disappointed, obviously, but I think a lot of the Irish just love the whole party behind it all. So no matter what, we're going to enjoy ourselves beforehand, and probably we're going to enjoy ourselves after as well. But yeah, for he's representing our country, so of course we want to see him win, and we'd be absolutely thrilled if he did.
Or maybe he'll share some of his winnings with you guys. It's set to be a 9-figure payout. Of course, we know Conor very charismatic. We know he is a national hero in Ireland. But I'm just curious, what really inspired you to write this song? I mean, what does Conor mean to you?
Well, I've had an interest in Conor just since the very first fight. So, and then just the few interviews that followed that. I didn't see the fight, didn't know about it, but I just saw the interviews and then I saw the fight. And then since then, like, he's just pure gold. Like, you just can't help but for me to love him and just to be listening to him the whole time and checking out what he comes out with. So for me, he means an awful lot, and his story is incredible. He knows exactly what he's doing the whole time, and look, regardless of what happens in the rest of his life, he's a seriously wealthy man, so hats off to him for that, and I think you got to respect that.
If you were to write a song for Floyd Mayweather, what would it be called?
I don't think I could do that, to be honest. I think I have to just stick with the one. But yeah, I was thinking of writing a call-out song for Mayweather, but yeah, I think Conor has him under control. I leave Conor deal with Mayweather, and I'll just focus on the Conor side of things and partying with him. But I'd love to know if Floyd has heard the song, because I'm still waiting on a response from him, but still haven't heard anything yet.
In the U.S., we call that a diss track. If you write a
diss track,
for Conor. I guess, how has your life changed since you wrote this song, since you've gone viral? How have things changed for you, besides the invitation to just go to the fight?
Yeah, well, obviously that's probably the biggest thing that's happened since, but the media interest has been huge, and it's not just in Ireland. Like, I don't know how you guys picked it up. It's incredible that I'm on Sports Illustrated. I didn't see that coming, but yeah, I'm just enjoying it all.
Now, for Mayweather's last super fight, he had Justin Bieber bring him out. So, who's better, you or Justin Bieber?
Well, obviously me. I'm far more original. Sure, like Justin Bieber's a nobody. I don't even know who he is. But yeah, look, if I'm there, I'm available. I'm not going to say no if Conor wants to be with him. But yeah, sure, we'll see how things go.
Seems like talking trash might just be an Irish thing. It might not just be Conor there, Mick. It sounds like it comes very easily and naturally. Listen, Mick Konstantin, really appreciate you. Congratulations, as I said, on the song going viral. Yes, even at Sports Illustrated, we are very interested in your life and what's going on. We hope to talk to you again soon. Of course, enjoy the fight in Vegas.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I think I can say it unequivocally. There's been a lot of heavy topics we've had to cover on the show in the last couple days. Mick Konstantin put you and I in the best mood of the week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was fun. If you were going to write a song about someone, who would it be?
I mean, it's got to be the GOAT, just the greatest of all time, which would just be the Buffalo Bills, the 1990s, the whole entire team. Yeah. I write them a different ending, though.
4 in a row?
Yeah, I'd write them a different ending. What about you?
I guess I could say my kids or my wife, but it'd probably be Rihanna. Or maybe a diss track to the Patriots.
It'd be a LeBron James, Jay-Z double bill of just complete fawnery.
I think I've already given it up to those guys, the Kings.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back tomorrow to close out the week with you, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Of course, stick with SI.com for all the latest news and headlines. And follow us on Twitter at SI Now Live. We will post clips from the show directly after this. Thanks for watching.